Let's begin. First up, most people are not aware that we have an epidemic of non-alcohol fatty liver disease in this country. Now, normally, if you drank a lot of alcohol, your liver is going to be saturated with fat and frequently sclerosed, diseased. That can adversely affect your body's ability to get toxins out of the body because toxins are filtered through the liver. Yes, the kidneys, but the liver is mainly the organ that conjugates, meaning brings together toxins and allows them to be in a form that can be taken right out. Okay, that's good. It's very good, providing that you feed the liver and keep it clean and healthy so it can produce this glutathione, the number one detoxifying nutrient, and everything works fine. But when you're drinking alcohol, whoa, that really screws up your liver. So therefore, you can't get a lot of toxins out of your body, hence you can suffer from autotoxemia. But now we know that sugar can also infiltrate the liver and causing all kinds of problems, and fat does the same. So, here's the latest from Bethany Scortino from Natural News on this. I thought it was very good because what it does, it challenges the makers of the high fructose corn syrup, which is in everything. Soft drinks are the number one place where they put this stuff. And a current television commercial from the Corn Refiners Association touts the quality of high fructose corn syrup and compares it to cane sugar. It claims, quote, when it comes to corn sugar or cane sugar, your body doesn't know the difference. Sugar is sugar. Well, true sugar is sugar, but it certainly is not high fructose corn syrup, a highly processed sweetener that is linked to obesity and a lot of other health problems. This undoubtedly is the reason for the marketing strategy of changing its name to corn sugar, an attempt to have consumers believe that all sugar is created equal. Well, not all sugars are equal. And here's how it works. I'll make it as simple as possible. Sugar is the broad spectrum term for sucrose, lactose, maltose. Now, sucrose is the form most commonly found in foods, or table sugar. A derivative sugar, beets, or cane sugar, that's where it comes from. And fructose is derived from fruits, lactose from milk, and maltose from malted foods like barley. So when you drink beer that's made from barley malt, you're getting these maltose sugars. But then you have this odd character, the high fructose corn syrup. It's derived from highly processed corn, a starchy grain. It has near equal amounts of fructose and sucrose and is similar to table sugar from a compounding perspective. But unlike fruit, this type of fructose is not bound to fiber, causing the body to process it faster and leaving the body unsatisfied. Starches and grains, well, they're different because starches and grain often have a higher glycemic index than all sugars, and corn falls in that same category. In addition, almost all of the United States corn production is genetically modified. That's a bad thing. A Princeton University study showed rats gained significantly more weight when consuming high fructose corn syrup in comparison to table sugar, even when the caloric intake was the same. And more interestingly, is the rats' accessibility to sucrose was equal to the sweetness of sugar, and high fructose corn syrup was half as sweet as that found in soft drinks. So the rats who consumed the high fructose corn syrup gained 48% more weight than their sucrose peers and had significant deposits of abdominal fat and circulating triglycerides, both bad. So in humans, these are characteristics of obesity, heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. Now let me just give you an example here. You've heard me mention many times on the program that you should pay attention to foods based upon their glycemic index. Glucose is released into your bloodstream when you eat a food, all right, any carbohydrate, and it's metabolized from carbohydrates. The glycemic index is the rate at which the body processes the glucose. A high glycemic index indicates food that is rapidly absorbed by the body. A low glycemic index indicates a food that is slowly absorbed and prevents spike in blood sugars by releasing small amounts of insulin from the pancreas. In turn, your body is more likely to use glucose as fuel rather than stored as fat. Mass release of insulin causes a rapid drop in blood sugar, signaling hunger in the brain. This is why diabetics use carb counting as a method of sugar control, eating small meals every 2 to 3 hours to moderately release glucose and avoid rapid spikes and dips in blood sugars, that roller coaster up and down. Now, the type of sugar glycemic index, you have stevia that has 0. That's terrific, and that's why it's a good natural sweetener. You have xylitol that only has 7. You have agave, which is 15 to 30. Fructose is 17. Brown rice is 25. Honey, raw honey is 30. Organic sugar is 47. And raw sugar is 65. Colas are 70. Corn syrup is 75. Table sugar is 80. High fructose corn syrup is 87. And then maltodextrin is 150. So the lower the number, the healthier the sugar is on your metabolism. The higher the number, the more problems you have with obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. Now, opioids are now the most prescribed class of medications in America. This is really not healthy. This is from Science Daily, and this was published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, researched on the University of Pennsylvania School of Medicine, and the National Institute on Drug Abuse. And they're 2 separate reports, and they show a drastic shift in prescribing patterns impacting the magnitude of opioid substances in America. And they say that these are major public health risks. And, for example, oxycodone, there was a huge increase in the prescriptions of this over the last 10 years. You get hooked on that, you've got hooked on something that's stronger than cocaine or heroin. Quote, the scope of the problem is vast. Opiate overdose is now the second leading cause of accidental death in the United States, and the prevalence is second only to marijuana. Wow. Why? Why are people using it? Well, it's simple. It's pain relief. But then when they start seeing pain relief, then they no longer have the pain, but then how that euphoria impacts them, kind of disconnect from the realities around them. That's what's important here. So, my suggestion, we should have non-toxic, non-invasive therapy pain clinics in every community in America, because half of all doctor visits are for pain. We have every kind of mind-body meditation, biofeedback, which can control pain. Acupuncture controls pains. Herbs like cat's claw and cayenne and feverfew, all great for pain. We have magnesium, which is the most powerful mineral there is for pain. It can relieve muscle spasms, premenstrual spasms and cramps. And we're not promoting this. We're not advocating it and using it preventatively. If every woman who has PMS, and especially with menstrual cramps, which can be devastating, I've seen people, even employees, who during their period they can't come to work for a day or 2 because of cramps. They're not faking it. These are real. But if you advocate, well, all right, take 1,400 milligrams or up to bowel tolerance of magnesium citrate, and take 1,000 milligrams of calcium citrate. And then there's some acupuncture points on your body that you can hold for 30 seconds, that can trigger a turning off pain response. How biofeedback can turn off pain anywhere in the body. TENS units, slight magnetic pulses into the brain that can turn off migraines. Think of the amount of suffering that we could prevent, and think of the amount of money we could save. So it's worth it, and yet we're not doing it. So in its place, people take the drug. It has very serious side effects. It's bad for your liver. It's bad for your kidneys. It's bad for your brain. But it does put people in that euphoric state, and once people get used to being in that state, especially before, if they were in a stressful environment, a home environment, work environment, it allows them to still function, but it means they're functioning in an altered state. It's a very dangerous drug. Now, we'll conclude this section with how to protect yourself from radiation poisoning. And in the wake of the Japanese nuclear disaster, radiation has contaminated the food and water supply of the ocean in Japan, but also now we're measuring water that has radiation in it off the coast of California. It's reached us. It's also gone, because of the circulating currents, it's already hit Canada and other points higher up. And the fish are being polluted, so I wouldn't eat anything out of the Pacific now. No seaweed or fish. According to Randall Neustatler, that radioactive particles have been carried to distant lands, and we are told that they are at too low a doses to negatively impact us. How can they determine that when a person with a faulted immune system cannot tolerate any radiation, and as the greatest radiation scientist in American history has told me many times on my program, he said, there is no such thing as a safe dose of radiation. All radiation is dangerous because once in the body, it doesn't dissipate. It'll be there all of your life. So taking in small amounts on a regular basis, it accumulates. Bad idea. So no one should be exposed to radiation from nuclear reactors in Japan or here in the United States, or those x-rays that we take too routinely. There's 3 simple principles involved in detoxification. The most important is chelation, or the binding and removal of heavy metals and other toxins in the body. Second, the body has its own methods of detoxification which can be encouraged. And third, antioxidants will scour and remove free radicals that have been created by oxidative damage. Now, everybody can take supplements and get good results and protect your body from heavy metals and radiation toxicity. Chelation can be accomplished by being in the hands of a physician who chelates or doing oral chelation. For example, let's say you didn't want to go to a doctor. You could take a 2-ounce glass of wheatgrass juice 3 times a day with ginger in it and garlic, and that's a terrific natural chelator. The blue-green algae in spirulina, which is also blue-green algae, contain chlorophyllin, and chlorophyllin binds toxic elements in your gut. Great for chelating, especially if you have mercury, lead, cadmium, heavy poisonings. So seaweed also is able to inhibit absorption of toxins in the digestive tract. And there is what is called brown seaweed. It's laminaria, and it contains sodium alginate, which has been shown to chelate heavy metals and treat radiation sickness. You also have modified citrus pectin, modified citrus, C-I-T-R-U-S, pectin, P-E-C-T-I-N. Many studies show that it can remove heavy metals like lead, mercury, arsenic from the body. And pectins, that's, by the way, what our grandparents, maybe our parents, used to do when they canned things. They would have this sugary jelly concoction that they would put canned fruits in, jarred fruits, and that's pectins. And the pectins and alginates are polysaccharides known as polyneurodines, molecules that form chains in an egg box structure that attract and trap radioactive metals. And generally it's about 5 grams a day of the powder. And then you have what is called zeolite. Z-E-O, light, L-I-T-E. Zeolite is a naturally occurring mineral that has a crystalline structure that traps metals. In my opinion, it's one of the best that there is, and it can remove depleted uranium from the body, 5 grams a day. And then the body has natural chelating agents, and it also helps this process if you give it enough green juices to allow these to kick in, and it can help. And glutathione, G-L-U-T-A-T-H-O-T-H-I-O-N-E, glutathione, is the body's primary antioxidant. It can be produced in every cell of the body, but the liver, as I mentioned earlier in the program, is the primary source. And glutathione is capable of breaking down carcinogens and heavy metals. And supplements like NAC and acetylcysteine and alpha-lipoic acid also support glutathione production. And a reduced lysosomal glutathione supplement can also be used to increase glutathione directly. Milk thistle, or its active ingredient, supports liver cell synthesis and promotes glutathione production. And L-glutamine is the amino acid that protects the small intestine lining from radiation damage. Probiotics and prebiotics are also, including beta-glucans and inulin, will maintain healthy intestinal lining. And then coenzyme Q10, grapeseed extract from resveratrol, krill oil, vitamin C, those are also terrific. So, now you know what to do. If you've been exposed to radiation from an X-ray or any other source, you could help yourself.